Hey everyone, Eric with Rock and H, and I need to make this visor right here on my phone. This is for a custom build I'm doing for a guy, and this visor isn't readily available that I've found, so we're going to make one. What we need for this build is, I'm using thin aluminum sheet. This is polished aluminum. There's a plastic film over it to protect it, and this comes off of a bigger sheet. I went online and I searched for polished aluminum sheet and got a larger sheet of this, and this is just a part of the larger piece that I have, and I think it was around 30 bucks, so it's more than I'll use in a long time. You'll need a square, a straight edge, an X-Acto knife, and you'll need a file. That's really all you'll need. Oh, and then something that's very handy is a vise. So the first thing I do when I go ahead and make one of these is I dial this down to about 3/16. That way I have plenty of aluminum to work with. You can always make it smaller, but if it's too small, it's just really difficult to work with, and it's already plenty difficult just the way it is. So I'm going to score a line right here with my square, and then come back and make a nice straight edge. Just like so. There we go. So a 3/16 inch strip, and then this is arbitrarily cut to about 1.5 inches or so. Next, to actually cut this strip of aluminum, you can actually use a scissor because it's really easy to cut and it's pretty thin. There we go. Now it is curved. Don't worry about that. If you happen to have a better cutting device, do use it. That way you don't have to do this step. I'm using this plier with the flat jaws here just to straighten it out. A tin snips or some sort of shear can work just as well, although it too will curve your aluminum. And we're back to basically flat. Next, we're going to use a vise. And if you happen to be wondering why my name's engraved in this vise, and it's stamped KSU 1995, I'll give you 2 guesses. And the second guess is, I went to Manhattan, I went to Kansas State University, and I made this vise in 1995 in ag mechanics class. That was one of the projects we had to do. This is way too wide for the truck I'm putting it on, so I'm going to start filing right here in the middle. And we want the plastic, we want to make sure the plastic edge, okay, I need to turn that over. There we go. We want the plastic coating facing to us so we can file and then not have burrs on the side we're going to have facing out away from the truck. Okay. And then, right here in the middle, or what's close to the middle, I'm going to just start filing at an angle. I'm putting a little pressure right here on the inside to get my angle started. Now I'm going to flatten that out. There. Then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. And our goal here will be to make both sides the same. Now, what happens if you screw up? Well, if you buy a sheet of it like I did, it won't really matter because you can just make another one. And I've had to do that more than once in the past. I get it done, and I'm like, ooh, I don't like this. So, just do it over. So if you think about it, other than your time, the cost of aluminum for this one little piece is well less than a penny. I'm going to take another file here and just kind of clean this up just a little bit here. I'm going to run my finger through that and make sure we got it nice and even. Okay. Now we're going to pull this out and see how we did. Looks pretty good right there. Now you'll notice this is our piece with the plastic over it, so any burrs are on the back side, and that's good. We can still remove those, and we will. And it doesn't take much. And there we go. We're done with the vise for now. Now we're going to start fitting this to our truck. If you have a smooth or something without any nicks in it, like this is all nice and smooth, these are handy. Any needle nose plier will work. Any plier will work for that matter. You could even use your fingertips. But what we're going to do here, actually, if you look, I kind of misjudged that. This side is noticeably thicker now that I have this out. Not to worry, we can do this by hand even. You don't need a vise to do it, it just helps. We can use our vise or our fingers and just gently take a little more off. It's really easy to work with, which is why I'm using it. Okay, that is not too bad there. Still not perfect, but remember, we're going to make this narrow because this is exceptionally wide right now. Let's take a look and see how wide we are. Quite a bit wide, so some of that's going to come off. No worries, we've got this. Okay. Next, we're going to grab the center of our visor. We're going to put a little bend in it because, as you can see, the roof on the 389 I'm doing here has a bit of a bend, and it looks like we can go a little more, so we will. And that's looking pretty good right there. That's nice. Okay. Next, we need to cut some of the extra off. Before I do that, what I like to do is hold that visor up against my truck where it's basically in the center. And you'll notice I'm eyeballing it quite a bit, and then I'm going to make that edge wrap around. And then we'll cut the excess off when we have the other side done. Okay, now we're going to do the other side. There's probably a more scientific way to do this, but when I only make one or two, I mean, I make these very rare. It's not very often I have to hand make a visor. When I do, it's just about as quick just to eyeball it and get it as close as we can that way. So here we can see how our visor is coming together. Okay, so now we're going to take and cut the excess off. For that, this works really well. And again, this is super soft, so you don't have to get too carried away with it. And then we're cutting just enough off to leave a little tab like so. And I've seen some real ones. That's kind of the look that I'm going for, is what I've seen on real trucks. Okay, this is coming together very well. All right, I like this. Now I'm going to go ahead and take the plastic off. And now we're going to begin dry fitting this for a final dry fit to our truck. And to accomplish this, I'm using just a jar I keep alcohol in, rubbing alcohol for cleaning purposes. And I'm going to set my truck up here for two reasons. One, so I can see it, and two, so you can see it. And now we'll just see how this looks on our truck. Okay, it's not a perfect visor, but it's not bad. Now we will use a tweezer here with some teeth on it, and we'll use some glue to hold it on. For this part of it, I'm going to use some BSI Max Secure Ultra Thick. You can buy this in my store. It's a glue that I just keep this on hand and use it for dang near everything. Now, I'm not going to use just a whole bunch of glue on this at this moment, and you'll see why in a bit. I'm going to set it on, square it up, and I want it kind of even across this roof cap here. Okay. Now I'm going to use a little bit of Instaset in my syringe here. Just, whoops, there we go. Now I got my drops in there. It only took a few drops, which is why I use a syringe. That way I can be very precise about how I place it. And then you'll notice, this is the only problem with this method here. Now you'll notice we have this giant gap right here where the stock visor actually laps over and fills this void right here. We can't do that necessarily hand making them, so we have a couple of choices. One is to take this and just leave it. You know, just overlook that. You've got that big gap there. Another choice is to use Canopy Glue Formula 560. This is equivalent to Elmer's glue on steroids. It works very well and it dries clear, which is what I really like. That, and unlike BSI, unlike this stuff here, this stuff will never give you glue haze because it's water-based. One thing you can do, this is what I will do when I have a giant gap like this to fill. I'll come in here with Formula 560 and I will just drip some of this in this space until the space is filled. Not only will this fill the gap, but it will also hold the visor on. And again, this will dry clear, so we don't have to worry about this creating some sort of odd look on our truck. It's just filling in the hole. That's it. After this is dry, other options exist, and one is to go ahead and with a small brush or a toothpick or something and take some of your paint and then dab that in this over the glue, and then that'll be the same color as the roof cap, and then you've just another added layer of detail. Once the glue is dry, I can continue assembling this truck. Thanks for watching.